How's it going, guys? So today I thought I'd bring you a new video, how to make my dongle rig. I call it my multi-rig, my multi-dongle rig I should say. It's basically a rig in carp fishing called the multi-rig. And you can basically loop or take a hook off and basically put a new hook on and using the same piece of line, if that makes sense. It makes more sense once I've tied the rig, obviously. It's really handy to have because sometimes if you've got a fish on, for instance, a smooth hound and your hook's blunt, I'm a big fan of checking my hooks. So every cast I wind in and I'll always check that hook just to make sure, because there's nothing worse than having a fish on, you know, a ray, a smooth hound, conger, even a dogfish in fairness. You don't want to get it most of the way and it falls off because your hook's blunt. If you know you've got sharp hooks and it falls off, then it is what it is then. But if you check your hooks and you come across and it's blunt, at least then you can change your rig. But with this rig, I don't have to change the rig. I can literally just change the hook, which for me is ideal. It's technically saving money, I suppose. All I'm spending more money on is hooks, which would do that anyway. So yeah, I'll show you the rig in a minute. The first part I tied up was the dongle piece. It's so easy to tie up. I didn't think I'd need to actually make a video tying it. So you just do a 2-turn blood knot, 300-pound braid. I'll show you the braid I'm using. That's the braid I'm using. 300 pound. How many yards do you get? Well, you get 50 meter, so you got loads of braid for your money. I make them 70 mil. Some people make them longer. I like to use shorter, fatter bits. And then on your braid, then you just tie 4 or 5 knots basically. So when you wrap it up, the bait basically stays on it. It doesn't slide off. Especially if the fish are picking at it and they're pulling. And obviously you've got your ring at the bottom, which you stick that on your imp or your splash line. And then again with the ring, you just tie another 2-turn blood knot just to attach it. So give me 2 seconds, I'll start making the rig. I'll bring you back now. So the next piece of the rig I'm going to make is, I call it a hook length, but I make a shorter hook length. I tie it with a swivel, so it's only about 10-12 inches long roughly. So first off, so I use, to start off with, ASSO Ultra Flex 80 pound. You can use like 100 pound, but you need bigger hooks to be honest with bigger eyes in them to do this rig. I wouldn't use 80 pound with size 4/0 circles because you won't get the line through it. Because basically you double the line up, you make a loop I suppose, and you put that loop then through the either hook. So you put technically 2 pieces of line for the either hook. Good thing with the circle hooks though, they got big eyes on them. They can be finicky. If you haven't got much patience, this rig might not be for you. If you haven't got the best eyesight, I wouldn't want to say eyesight, but it can be difficult to thread the line through the either hook. So I will pre-warn you on this bit. I'm fine with it. Dad struggles sometimes with it. I do have skinny fingers as well. Well, I'm skin and bone as it is, but I have got skinny fingers, so it might be easier for me to do it. So if you do struggle, you know, at least I've pre-warned you, it can be difficult. So, with your loop, I'm going to tie a figure of 8 loop. If you don't know how to tie one, I have left a video. I basically made it yesterday. I posted a video up today, I should say, of how to make it. So I get my loops for about 50 mil, I want to say, roughly. So get your line, make a loop. So you got that loop there. Put it at the back. Hold the pieces of the line together. Get this loop then back through. And what you will see there is the number 8. So put that down, wet it. And you got the so let me just one thing I will recommend, especially if you've got braid for the dongles, is try and get yourself a pair of braid scissors, because if you're using cedar scissors, you will get a decent cut with them, but with braid scissors you do get a lot better, finer cut with them, a tidier cut I want to say, but you know, you can just use your normal fishing scissors. So now you've got your loop. Like I said, this piece can be a little bit tricky. Get your loop. Try and make your loop not so twisted. Pinch the two pieces of line together. It's going to be quite hard for you to see, but all I'm doing is just getting the loop, pinching it together, and then just put that then through the eye of the hook. Once you've got it for the eye of the hook, I try and get the line so it's not twisted, and you see where they both come out, and they're not twisted, because they do have a tendency sometimes to do this. So just unwind it, and then just basically put the hook and the dongle piece through the hook, put it down nice and tight. So what you end with then is that. So that's the sort of angle you're looking for. So what I'll do now, I'll make this about 18 inches. No, I won't make it 18. About a foot in length roughly is enough. So be back now. Let me just measure it up. So that's your hook length. So what I do now, I get a swivel. What I do as well, I buy. Now you don't have to use silicone, but I like to use it because I'm gonna try it with the weed, like the snotty sort of weed, especially down like Ogmore and places where it goes on your swivel and it's a nightmare to get off. So I've been using silicone just to try it to see if the weed's easier to pull off. I've had like May bloom and stuff, and it has been easier to get it off the swivels, because obviously you've got the rubber protecting the swivel, I suppose. So yeah, you don't need these, you can just use normal swivels if you need to. Let me just thread my tubing on. And then I use cedar size for rolling swivels. I did have a pack here somewhere. Problem is I chucked some more in my little tackle box, so that's gone missing. The packaging, that is. So then all I do then is just tie a 3-turn blood knot. 1, 2, 3. £80 Ultra Flex, I can't remember what it's called. With my knots, I just do 3 turn blood knot, £80 line. You don't have to do loads of turns on them because they don't seem to slip, because it's thick line. It won't really slip. I've been using them for about 5-6 years and I've never had one slip. So the only time I'll change my knot is if I start having my rig start slipping and I'm losing fish, which has never happened. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Slide my piece of silicone. Side up the line, well, onto the swivel eye of the hook, I suppose. Perfect. So that's the rig, the hook length, I should say. That's the hook length. I'll make the other section now. Give me 2 seconds. So this part of the rig is the pulley rig part, basically. So again, I'll just get a piece of silicone. Like I said, you don't need to use it. Got a black bead. I use, if you can see it, it's very fine, I suppose. I use oval beads. They probably don't look oval on the camera, but they are. I buy them on eBay with a guy called something like Pocket Rig, so something like that, I think he's called. Then what you do then, on your £80 Ultra Flex asshole, you get a swivel, stick your swivel on, get another bead, thread the bead on. So this part here is really easy, basically. Anyone can do this bit. Again, another bit of tubing. So what I'll do now, get a Cedra size for mainline swivel, or rolling swivel I should say. Again, with my knots, just a free turn blood knot. Fold it, 1, 2, that's the third one, and I always go back under into the hole you've made. Some people might have different knots they use, like the grinner knot and stuff, but I don't think there's any need, to be honest with you, unless you're going for taupe and stuff. Then obviously I wouldn't try and comment on what knots to use for taupe, because I've never gone for them. I'd be a fool if I did. So this piece now, the rig, the rig body. I can't think what it's called. Sorry guys. The rig body. I'll make this 4 foot. So I'll cut it 4 foot, tie it, and then I'll bring it back. So on your rig body, that's it basically cut up. What I've done now, I've attached an imp with my piece of silicone. Again, 3 turn blood knot, just attached to the imp. And obviously on the bottom of the imp there you'll have your lead, your 7-ounce lead, 6-ounce lead, or whatever you want to use. So this piece is done. So far you've got the rig hook length, which is that piece. You've got your 4 foot rig body, that's if I don't tangle it. Rig body, so that's 4 foot. And this overall is, I cut it 10 inches, but I measured 10 inches from my knot to there. So basically that's 10 inches. There's a tiny piece here, obviously with the dongle bit. So overall, I'll tell you the length. 17 inches. 17 inches, the whole length of that is 17 inches. So what I do now, So you got 4 foot of this. If I measure it down, it will stand at 4 foot. Yep, 4 foot. What I do then, I'll do 17 inches. So when I cut this piece of line to attach to the rig body, I basically go from, say, 20, well, yeah, about 19 inches up into the 4 foot mark, if that makes sense on a tape measure. Obviously you got your tape measure, you got your 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot, you got your inches at the top. So my rig, my hook length is 17 inches overall. So if I went from 17 inches to 4 foot, obviously at the top where you got your swivel, this piece, where you got this piece, you wouldn't have no room to obviously move, like have any of this action. It'd be basically touching the top swivel, which you don't want to. So when I do this now, I'll show you. Let me just get the line. Get that bit of fluff away. So what I'll do now, make sure I'm hooking onto the right one. So I got my rig body. I'll tie. So what I'll do now, I'll tie this piece of line is up to the spool of Ultraflex. I'll tie it to my rig body. Again, just your normal 3-turn blood knot. I know people in the comments are going to say it's better knots than a 3-turn blood knot, but the 80-pound line, it won't slip. If you have them slip, then I don't know. Like, I've never had one slip, so I can't say anything bad about. I've used blood knots all my life. Sometimes if you want to use the tubing, you can thread the tag end with the tubing, so you get extra if we can thread it on. So it's always one piece of tubing it. Here we go. Lovely. So you got that. If I really want to be fussy, snip that bit off. I'll try and find that later. It's gone over there somewhere. So what I do with this now, so this piece here is my rig body. This piece here now is brand new line. So I got the top swivel. I'll stick it on the 4 foot marker. And I take it down to about 19 inches. I'll do that. Cut it. What I'll do then, another piece of tubing. You guys are probably thinking I'm nuts using tubing, but it's been working for me, so it hasn't stopped me catching fish, but that way. Again, just no 3-turn blood knot. At the moment, what have I got on TV? I've just stuck some fish on TV just to watch. I can't really watch it because obviously I'm filming this. At this current stage in time, I got Richard Renyard on a mark, and he's got a Congle on. So big shout out to Richard Renyard. Here, tag and then slide the tubing straight through. Like I said with this rig, The only bit people might struggle with is that loop getting it through the eye of the hook. The rest of the rig, once you've tied a few up, they're really easy, to be honest with you. They are really easy. And then this is basically a rig made. I do time up a lot quicker than this. Obviously I'm trying to explain to you guys on the camera how it works, what my logic behind it is. Like I said to you guys, I'm not a professional. I don't try and be a professional. I'm just showing you my theory of it, I suppose, and where I got the idea from. Like I said, it's been working, so I'm not one for hiding rigs. So I'll show you they're all fully set up. Oops. There we go. All set up. I like to have the swivel with a bit of movement there, because if you have it too close, I've had problems with not having much movement with the pulley section of it. So I try and get it a little bit further away from the swivel and stuff. So yeah, that is basically the rig done. Obviously your ring attaches to your imp. I haven't got a lead on it, but it doesn't matter. You got the gist of it. So you got your imp, then you got you tie your imp on. You can use a swivel, but personal opinion, I don't really need the swivel on it. I have made them with swivels, but I just go back to the normal, tie it on. I know some of the big casters have straightened these imps out, but I've never had any problems with them, so I'll stick with them. I didn't used to use them, to be honest. I used to use Trident, the Trident clips, and I used to use the rotary clips, that's it, or the rotor clips, I think they're called, and the Gemini splashdowns. I still use the splashdowns, but lately I've been loving these imps. I think I £80, go to a bead, and go up the line in. You've got 4 foot rig body, you've got another swivel, then you've got another bead. I'll try and bring it in a little bit for you. Then you've got your swivel in the middle with 19-inch the other side of the hook length, 19 inches, another swivel, and then this piece here is where the hook is. Like I said, if I do need to change the hook, I can just do that literally and just unloop the hook if I need to. Obviously this piece now, I can do the loop, bring it close a few. I can take that hook off now if I wanted to. So instead of change, because there's many days where we'll have a dogfish on, you blunt your hook, but your line itself is actually fine. So instead of cutting, 4 foot of hook length, if this line is damaged, you literally got 19 inches of line there. So all you're wasting technically is this. Now, if for some reason, this part of the line gets damaged, it is what it is. But 9 times out of 10, especially with dogfish, because they wrap this up around it, line they're going to score. You'll feel it, obviously it'd be really rough, and it will weaken the line. It'll go from like £80, probably down to £50 if, depending on how weak it goes. But a lot of times your hook just gets blunt. So like I said, you can just unloop it, take the hook off, put a new hook on with the dongle piece up. I do recommend making a load of these hooks with the dongle pieces on. It don't take long, to be fair, to tie them up. Just save you doing when you're out. And with the knot, because it's not an actual knot, it's just 2 pieces of line wrapped around the eye of the hook. The only piece that's going to snap, obviously, is the figure eight loop. But I'd love to know. I don't actually know what the pressure before the figure eight loop snaps at. So I'd love to know what it actually is. Because I've pulled it with. I've had a puller tool in its end, and I've pulled it as hard as I can, and it won't snap. So the knot itself is really strong. I'm not saying I'm Eddie Hall, you know, I'm not the world's strongest man, but I've got a bit of strength behind me, and I can't snap it. So it must be pretty strong, and I don't think a ray is going to pull that hard, where it's going to snap the whole line. Let's be honest, unless there's a weakness there. So yeah, that is Team Shepherd's rig. People have said about it doesn't spin. I know this is not the best demonstration, obviously. I get their reason behind it. But like I said, if I started hooking fish, you know, bottom lip, but it's awkward, or top lip and stuff, then I wouldn't be using it. But it's been turning every time, just like a carp rig. Bang, straight in the bottom lip, straight in the bottom lip, straight in the bottom lip. So until it stops working, this is my rig. I'm always been honest with stuff, guys, so if I get problems, obviously I'll tell you, because I don't want you to be losing a personal best fish, and I don't want to be losing a personal best fish either, to be fair. But yeah, it works. This is Team Shepherd's multi dongle rig. We'll see you soon, guys. Team Shepherd.